Dear students, earlier we have studied in colloids, we have studied about the classification based on the physical state of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. One more classification which we have studied is based on the nature of interaction of dispersed phase and dispersion medium, like lyophilic sols and lyophobic sols. Today the classification which we are studying is based on the type of particles of dispersed phase. So based on the type of particles of dispersed phase. So how is it classified as? Now you already know what is a dispersed phase and what is a dispersion medium, right? So in a dispersion medium we disperse some substance, that is nothing but a dispersed phase. Here according to this classification, based on the type of dispersed phase particles, we have micromolecular colloids, the second one is macromolecular colloids, and the third one is associated colloids. Here again, associated colloids is also called as micelles. Now what it is actually? Here the name itself tells you, micro means small, micromolecular colloids, a colloidal solution in which the particles are small. So what happens is, large number of smaller atoms or molecules combine and they aggregate to form colloidal range of particles. Now again let me remind you, there are actually three main types of solutions. One is true solution, one is colloids, and other one is suspension. Now we are speaking about colloidal solution. So in this what happens? Large numbers, say there are smaller atoms which come closer, they aggregate to form colloidal size of particles. Such colloids in which large number of small atoms or molecules aggregate to form a colloidal solution, you call them as micromolecular colloids. So the examples for this micromolecular colloids are gold sol and sulfur sol. Gold sol and sulfur sol can be the examples for micromolecular colloids. Now what exactly happens? Large number of gold atoms come closer, they form colloidal range of particles, and then you get the colloidal sol or colloidal solution of it. Sulfur sol is formed by the combination of maybe 1000 or more than 1000 S8 molecules. They combine to form sulfur sol. Hope it's clear. Now let's move on to the next one, macromolecular colloids. See, what is the name telling you? Macro means large. So here the molecule itself will be large. It is a larger molecule. Say for example, starch. A starch molecule is a larger one. You just take it and disperse it in some medium, say solvent, dispersion medium. You have taken a starch molecule and you are dispersing it in water. Now what happens? It itself is a large molecule, right? So it just disperses and you get colloidal range of solution or particle. That is called macromolecular colloids. So what is it? Larger molecule is dispersed in the dispersion medium which has colloidal range. Then it constitutes macromolecular colloids. Example for macromolecular colloids, we have naturally occurring macromolecules as well as Man-made macromolecules. Examples for macromolecule. Let me tell you the naturally occurring macromolecules first. Examples can be starch, cellulose, proteins, enzymes. All these are examples for naturally occurring macromolecules. Man-made macromolecules examples are polythene, nylon, synthetic rubber, etc. These are examples for man-made macromolecules. Now next, moving on to associated colloids, a very important concept. As I explained, please do note down the important points and maintain a note for it. Associated colloids, association, coming together, coming closer. Now here I have told you it's also called as micelles. I'll be telling you why we call it as micelles. Now what are these associated colloids? There are some substances which at ordinary conditions they behave as normal strong electrolytes. Now I need not explain you what is an electrolyte. As you know, those are the substances which can conduct electricity. So there are some substances which behaves as normal strong electrolyte at normal conditions. But at a particular temperature, why am I stressing on this point of temperature is because that particular temperature has a term. I'll tell you what it is. And at a particular concentration, or than this, the right term would be above a particular temperature and above a particular concentration, these all the particles, that means the normal electrolyte which was behaving as a normal strong electrolyte, they start forming aggregates. Aggregates in the sense clusters. They start forming group or clusters. What happens here? It is undergoing association. So we say associated colloids. How can you define associated colloids? You can define it as there are some substances which behaves as normal strong electrolytes and above a particular temperature called as Crafts temperature. Crafts temperature, and above a particular concentration called as critical micelle concentration. It's also called CMC, it's abbreviated CMC, we call it as. Above critical micelle concentration, they start forming aggregates. Aggregates are called as thus formed are called as what? They are called as micelles. So hope you are getting the point of what it is. Micelles are nothing but the normal electrolytes above a particular temperature and above a particular concentration called as critical micelle concentration starts forming aggregates. This is called as, the aggregates formed are called as micelles, or the colloidal solutions are called as associated colloids. Please do note this and then let me erase it. Let me mention you one more thing. Example for associated colloids, soaps and detergents are the examples for associated colloids. And critical micelle concentration for soaps. For soaps, CMC value is 10 to the power minus 4 to 10 to the power minus 3 mole per liter. Okay, this is what you need to know about the classification. Now let us study in detail of micelles. What is the mechanism behind the formation of micelles? Now, mechanism of micelle formation. It's a very interesting concept, and you have studied about this again in the bridge course, obviously. So what it is? Now we know that the example for associated colloids is soaps or detergents. Let's take an example of soaps. Now what is a soap? You obviously know what is a soap. Soaps are nothing but sodium or potassium salt of larger fatty acids. Yes, I'll take an example of sodium stearate. Example for soap is sodium stearate. The formula for sodium stearate is C17H35 COONA. This actually consists, a soap consists of two parts. One is a lyophilic part and the other one is lyophobic part. Now I need not again mention you what is lyophilic and lyophobic. You know, lyo refers to liquid, philic refers to loving. So water loving substances are called as lyophilic substances. Lyo again liquid, phobic means hating. Water hating substances are called as lyophobic substances. Here it consists of two parts. Generally we can represent it as RCOONA. So on dissolution, when you just dissolve it, what happens? It splits into two parts. You know, Na plus RCOO minus. Now let us consider this part, RCOO minus, to explain soap action or cleansing action of soap. Also we need this particular thing, and how actually micelle formation takes place. In this you can see we have two parts. One is R, that is nothing but hydrocarbon part, hydrocarbon chain, and this is COO minus, which is a polar one, charged part we have. I can represent this particular example in this way. You know this? I'll represent it this way. Okay? See, this part is called as tail and this part is called as head. This is called as tail and this is called as head. Now what is the speciality of this? Head loves water. Water means hydro. Loving means philic. So this head will be hydrophilic. So we call it as hydrophilic head. And this part is the tail part which hates water. So it is called as hydrophobic tail. Or you can also call it as non-polar tail, and this is polar head. What is the speciality of it? You can just imagine an earthworm dipping its head in water. So you can think like, which is dipping its head in water, that part loves water, and the one which is away hates water. You can remember in that way. So hope this is clear of what it is. Now let me tell you what happens at normal concentrations. You know, remember Kraft's temperature and critical micelle concentration. What happens at normal concentration? At normal concentration, you can observe this particular RCOO minus part this way, where the head is touching the water in the sense it is attracted to the water, but tail hates water and so it remains away from it. So this is at normal concentration. Now let us see at critical micelle concentration what happens. At critical micelle concentration what happens is, you remember, head loves water, it is hydrophilic. So the head remains towards the water, it gets attracted towards the water, but tail wants to stay away from it. You can observe these kind of formation where the water, this particular hydrophilic head is attracted towards the water, but the tail stays away from the water. This kind of arrangement is nothing but micelles. This is what we call as micelles, a cluster form, isn't it? That's what we have studied. This is the micelle formation that takes place. Let me continue with this of how it can cleanse in the clothes, how it can clean the clothes, or how it can wash away the dirt or grease from the clothes. Please note this. Let me erase this part. Okay, how it can cleanse. Now you know how this micelle formation can take place, right? Imagine there is a surface, any surface, it can be vessels or it can be cloths as well. So imagine any surface having grease or dirt. Now what happens? This particular surface, when you add soap solution to it or when you dip it in the soap solution, again the same thing happens. What happens? Now here, the head loves water, so it stays towards water, whereas the tail, which hates water, gets attracted towards the grease. Now this results in the formation of micelles. So the dirt will be surrounded by this particular formation, micelle formation. Gradually what happens is, see, this head is loving water, whereas the tail is holding the dirt particles. Now when you just wash it off, this dirt is holding that dirt is held by the tail. So that is washed away along with the water. That is how you can cleanse cloth by using this particular method. That is again cleansing action of soaps, which is again important. You can just note down this particular concept. Now let us see the preparation of colloids. Preparation of colloids can be done by different methods. And in the beginning itself, I have told you why this concept is very important. Because colloids play a major role in our life. And that is why we need to know how can we prepare colloids. Preparation of colloids. So there are different methods. One method is chemical method of preparation of colloids. Chemical method of preparation of colloids. In this again, using chemical reactions, how you can prepare colloids or colloidal solutions. One method is double decomposition. Double decomposition method. Second one is oxidation method. Third one is reduction method. And the fourth one, which we are studying in this particular syllabus, is about hydrolysis. Let us study one example each for these type of methods. Double decomposition. Let us consider an example of preparation of arsenic sulfide sol. So to prepare arsenic sulfide sol, we need arsenic oxide, As2O3. It is treated with hydrogen sulfide, H2S. Now which process takes place here? It is double decomposition process that takes place. Now what are the products formed? I have told you we are preparing arsenic sulfide sol. So it is AS2S3, which is a sol. You know what is a sol again? Liquid is the dispersion medium and solid is the dispersed phase here. Water is the byproduct. So you need to balance it. So this is an example for double decomposition. One more example for oxidation. Let us consider example of sulfur dioxide treated with hydrogen sulfide again. Here oxidation takes place and the resultant sol which you get is sulfur sol along with water. So which sol is formed? Sulfur sol is formed along with water as the byproduct. Again, balance. The next method is reduction. In reduction, we'll take example of auric chloride, AuCl3, auric chloride, which is treated with formaldehyde and water. So here which sol is prepared? Gold sol is prepared. And the byproducts are formic acid and HCl. Here you can make out here HCOOH. And one more H which is remaining will take up this Cl to form HCl. A gold sol is prepared. And then again balance it. Please note this. And the last one is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis of ferric chloride. The name itself tells you ferric chloride getting hydrolyzed. You need water there. On hydrolysis, it results in the formation of ferric hydroxide sol. It results in the formation of ferric hydroxide sol, which can be the byproduct here. The byproduct is HCl. Then again balance. So this is one method of preparation of colloids, which is a chemical method. And the next method we shall study. There are many more methods of preparation of colloids which we can study further. So please note this down and go through the concept. Thank you.